Namaskaram. What's up, everybody? How are you? Welcome to Movie Community College. I am your favorite uncle, the professor. I am hanging out here. That was the Killer Bee gaming chair. Make sure you go check that out. The Warrior Queen is home from the retreat. She made it. She is sleeping, though. She is over there sleeping. Okay. Hopefully she'll be up today because we got a bunch of videos to kind of wrap up, and I think you'll be excited to see them. I want to talk to you about the movie Ghandi, right, starring Ben Kingсли. This film is not technically an Indian film. It's not technically a Bollywood film. But I'm going to put this in the Bollywood Top 100 because it's an important film to see, I think. If you were to say to me, Professor, what do you know about Gandhi? I would say, he was kind of this pacifist dude that Martin Luther King, the great American civil rights activist, kind of copied a lot. That he, influenced people. There are a lot of people who were part of his Congress party, like Bose, and it was a big deal. He kind of was always starving himself, wearing a loincloth. He was assassinated by who, I don't know, for what, I'm not sure. And that he was just a very peaceful dude, right? That's what I would say about him. Maybe he was in yoga, I don't know. Then I watched the movie. Boy, oh boy, did I learn a lot. First of all, I would say I had no idea that he was a lawyer. I didn't know that. I just thought he was just some dude who said, I'm going to be very peaceful and very passive and get the British out of here. So the world will just be horrified by the treatment, right? So that's what I thought, but I didn't know he was a lawyer. So the film picks up with him traveling in South Africa. And I know a guy from South Africa. When I was, maybe 24, I was working at a chemical company, and I was in the marketing department. And being young in corporate America, we had a partner in South Africa and with the chemical company. And the father had a son who kind of wanted to get his young son going in the business. They own diamond mines. They own all kinds of stuff. And they sent him to America to kind of learn America, right? And my job, because he was 22, 23, was to keep him out of jail. Don't let him get arrested. Don't let him get beat up, And so I became his friend. And his name was Daryl, dude. And he was super cool. And he was super good looking, tall, good looking, like an Aryan youth. He looked like Hitler's dream. Blonde hair, blue eyes. You're just like, what, dude? Anyways. But he had this foreign charm about him. He would just go up to women when he introduced them and kiss them on the lips and say, oh. And he was doing it to hit on them. But the American women weren't sure, like, is this just something that they do in their culture? Or did he just hit on me? Did it to everybody, dude. It was just hilarious. And anyways. He was from South Africa, and I knew South Africa, had apartheid, and I knew, the racial construct of issues they had, because he would talk about it, the unrest, the whatnot, right? So we find Gandhi in South Africa. We find him there, and he's on a train, and he's traveling. He's a lawyer. Like, again, I didn't know he was a lawyer, and he's traveling. He's got hair. He's got a full head of hair. So what the? First of all, he's a lawyer. Second of all, he's got freaking hair. I didn't know that. I thought Gandhi was this bald dude. Sometimes you saw him with a mohawk. Well, my mohawk needs to be trimmed up. We'll do that later today. And he's in South Africa. Things I did not know. So he was down there to meet with a very wealthy businessman who I think was Muslim. I think he was Muslim, if I remember right. And they were having an issue about how they're being treated in South Africa, right? They didn't think it was fair how they were being treated. And they had points on this, right? So while Gandhi is down there to go meet with this guy, he gets caught in the train because he's not in the colored section, right? He's not in the segregated section. And the police tell him, listen, you have to go sit back there, or we're gonna kick you off the train. And he's like, I'm a British educated lawyer. Like, what the hell are you doing, dude? I paid for these tickets. I'm sitting here reading my book, my stuff, and you can go suck it. Politely said, you can go suck it. So they kick him off the train. He meets up with the businessman, and they kind of talk about it. And they're trying to strategize, like, how can we use the court system since you're a lawyer to sue for our rights? And they kind of come up with a few things. And you see the implementation, you see the seedlings of what will become the Congress Party there. And they start having success. They start running the table, right, on the South Africans. They start winning. And he decides that he's going to go home, right? He's going to go to India. So he goes to India, and they're waiting for him, and there's, some kind of political intrigue with him, because who's this guy who beat the British Empire in South Africa? He's coming to India. Maybe we can use him to a greater cause. Like, sides were trying to get Gandhi to come to him and use him to help them. No one realized that he was going to flip the script and he would become the movement, right? So he says, first thing he says when he gets to India is, he says, you know what, this is my motherland. I don't know it at all. I'm going to take some time and I'm going to go travel India. I'm going to go travel it. I'm going to go to the north, to the south, to the east, and to the west. I thought this was a great idea on Gandhi's part, right? Because he wanted to see the untethered truth of how the people are suffering, right? How do they live? What's the level of poverty? What's the level of, desperation? And I thought that was a brilliant move. And so he spends some time doing this, and during his travels, he's becoming more of the idea of what we see of Gandhi, that picture of the bald man wearing the loincloth. And we kind of see that character come to life, and more of that. And then he gets invited to it was like a political committee to get the British the heck out, right? And there was the guy, the Muslim guy, who becomes, I think, the first prime minister of Pakistan. I think, was it Nehru was there? I think it was Nehru. There's some other members of the Congress Party and AAP. And they have these meetings about what to do. And it's anywhere from, like, should we just be pacifists? Let's buy guns and shoot them, right? You get this whole range of stuff that's going on here. And Gandhi begins to soar in popularity, so he can kind of call the shots. And he's like, we ain't doing that. We're going to not resist, right? We're going to civil disobedience. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And he begins to stir India, which was an amazing feat unto itself. He stirs India. He begins to rally people to his cause, right? And the British start arresting him. Okay. They get in with a couple of reporters, right? And then he decides that he's going to start fasting. He just hunger strike, right? And then that makes the paper, and then the British are like, oh, damn. Oh, no. What are we going to do? Oh, no. There's too many Indians here. If they all riot, we're screwed. We got to... So then they start leaving him alone, and he wants to build because they had this in South Africa. They had like this commune, which I think is super cool. I would love to live in a commune. Goulash maybe is is it goulash? That is the Yiddish word for it. Not gulag. The gulag is the Russian prison. I think it's goulash. And the habit, no, what do they call it? Anyways. So they're kind of farming, and Gandhi does this. Gandhi goes and he gets this land, and he builds this Indian thing, and he starts calling for, like, we just stop buying stuff from the British, dude. Let's make our own clothes. We used to do that until they broke all of our thumbs and threw our garment making wheels away. And it becomes self-sufficient. They're making their own food. They're cooking their own food. A big thing that he did was the salt. We're not buying British salt. We're going to go down to the ocean and make our own salt, which is super cool. So you see these things that I had no idea what he did. Like again, in the beginning of this video, I had this what I was taught in school, but it was just this much of Gandhi. So we see Gandhi really kind of putting it to the system hard and saying, I don't care. Kill me, beat me, whatever, but I'm not going to stop. I'm not stopping. And so we saw them, he started introducing make your own clothes, grow your own food. Don't buy the tea, we'll make our own tea. Don't get the salt, we'll make our own salt. And this is just like, the British are like, you gotta be freaking kidding me, man. Like, this guy's breaking our back. And then they, he's just so sweet and like, arrest me then, I don't care. When they arrest him, he's like, I'm just won't eat. And okay, let's release him. And it was super cool to learn that side of it. Now, one of the problems I had with the film is because Gandhi is kind of, in the beginning of the film, he identified as Hindu, but he's almost like a universalist, right? Like, everybody is fine, everybody is equal, and I agree with that in theory, right? I agree with that in theory, that you don't, generally speaking, of all all constants are constant, if all variables are constant, if it's, you just, you give everybody the benefit of the doubt, I guess is what I'm saying. And he begins to empathize a lot with the Muslim population, with foreigners, with all these different groups that I felt were at the expense of the Hindus, right? And when we would watch this film, and you see this film, when they talk about the violence, they always show the Hindus doing violence. Like on film, on the screen, it was always, the radical Hindu getting ready to do something. We never saw it portrayed as the radical Muslim doing it, right? And I was really shocked at, like, his attitude almost became anti-Hindu. Like he felt like, to maintain power, to maintain his control, because that's what he was turning into. He was turning into a smiling dictator, I think. He needed to appeal to everybody else but the Hindus. And you can see the groundwork for the Congress Party being laid here as a platform to build on. So, okay, we need 10 votes. Well, if we just got the Hindus to vote, we wouldn't. That's fine, we got them. Well, we're not doing that, though, because we're going to go cater to everybody else, and hopefully we can get our 10 votes. And it worked for Gandhi, right? It worked for Gandhi. It worked for the Congress Party initially. I think the problem is in his quest of enlightenment, in his quest to free India, he became an anti-nationalist. And it was very clear on the film. Like, so you see the guy who assassinates him is a Hindu, because they're kind of like, you know what, dude, you're more harm than good, and you see that play out. And and it made me think about, again, what would I do if I was a young man in that time period? I think I would probably start with Gandhi, because he was a cultural phenomenon. But when you started seeing the things happening, I kind of like Bose. I kind of would have been like, okay, I'm going to be part of Bose's army, because, I think, unfortunately, the way Gandhi was going about it prolonged the British occupation. You maybe say, Professor, well, who cares, right? A lot of Hindus died underneath British occupation. It's really, truly the forgotten Holocaust. We're quick to point out Adolf Hitler was a terrible guy, and he was. Winston Churchill was way worse. Winston Churchill has way more blood on his hands, way more blood. I think I read somewhere where 6 million Jews died World War II. Terrible. That's a lot. Terrible. And then I read like 50 million, 60 million Russians died. And then you read 300 million Indians died underneath British occupation. So, I think Gandhi kind of got lost himself in this journey and became too drunk on his own fame. Too drunk on the attention he was getting. That he forgot the cause. He lost himself in the cause. And I was shocked to see that. I was shocked to see that play out. And I kind of always suspected that as I've been doing Indian content. but I was just blown away by it. So, I think that this is a great film. This is a film that you should see because it's going to give you a good glimpse into history. I thought Ben Kingsley, and it was funny. We saw Ben Kingsley. I told the Warrior Queen, like, I ordered Gandhi. Let's watch Gandhi with Ben Kingsley. She's like, why are we watching a white dude play it? Oh, he's part Indian. Oh, so that was kind of cool, which explains a lot of him in Indian films. This was a great film to see because I think it helps you understand. It gives you context to, like, Rahul Gandhi. This is the genesis of the Congress Party, and you kind of you're going to the foundation of what it's built upon, and you can compare and contrast that to, like, the popularity of Modi, right? You see the popularity of Modi and what that means, and that has to do because he is completely different than the Congress Party. So this is a great film to watch. I would encourage you to check it out if you haven't yet. You will be educated. You will have some insight and wisdom given to you, and I can't say it's really a fun movie because it ends in the tragedy, the assassination of Gandhi, but definitely well worth seeing it. And I'm going to put this in the Bollywood Top 100, even though it's not Bollywood. I know. I'll catch you later. Peace and much love.